What the fuck is Shadversity saying now? Oh no. Oh no, it's so long. Oh no. He wrote a book. I've been getting weird vibes from Shad's YouTube channel for a while. Turns out being a transphobe is part of his identity. Guess that explains it. And then he wrote this book. We're probably going to talk about this on Dumbfuck Friday tomorrow. Displaying gender pronouns or calling people their preferred pronoun is not about being polite for me and many other people, and this includes being forced to participate through employment, media, and video games. There's a pronoun. Me is a pronoun. It's a demand that I, pronoun, deny, pronoun, my faith, my beliefs, pronoun, and my own pronoun identity to affirm the identity of strangers, most of them pronoun, that hate me, pronoun, all for the purpose of being polite because of the feelings of people who do not care about my pronoun feelings, and how offensive this demand is to me, pronouns, based on my core fundamental beliefs and identity. Pronoun. I identify as a man, not based on my feelings or mental health, but because my biology and sex. Okay, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your sex and your biology are part of your feelings and mental health. Your brain is biology, and hormones are sexually related. So, you're dumb. The very fact of assuming I, pronoun, need to let others know my pronoun, gender pronouns, is only necessary upon the false beliefs that, I mean, you said I identify as a man, but whatever. There are more than two genders. There are any dichotomy like that. Anytime there's two, there's always four. So if something can be one or the other, so if something can be true or false, it can either be true, false, both true and false, and neither true nor false. So there's four options no matter what. So if there's male, female, you have female, you have both male and female, and neither male nor female. And these are just basically your cardinal directions. There's lots of directions in between, but those are like your cardinals. Just to give a rough... It's certainly not limited to those things, I should say. That gender is not obvious to know based on how nearly all people look. I mean, yeah, some people have more traditionally masculine features, some people have more traditionally masculine or feminine features. Some people are more androgynous and kind of look somewhere in between. Some people can look more effeminate or more masculine depending on how they dress that day. So, yeah, it's not obvious. 3, that I, pronoun, might think I'm, pronoun, a different gender to how I, pronoun, appear, which are beliefs that I find offensive. Oh no. Poor you. It affects your life so much, doesn't it? As they contradict biological reality. Oh yeah? Dude, that does it now? And the reality that it's obvious to all who see me that I am a man. I am a man! Is it? I don't think a lot of people who kind of critique your stuff view you as much of a man. They kind of view you as more of a whiny piss baby, but, you know. This goes even deeper regarding my religious beliefs. Because of course it's based on your religious beliefs. Why would it be based on facts and biological reality, which says nothing about the existence of a god? Which are that gender is an essential characteristic of individual, pre-mortal, mortal, and eternal identity and purpose. Where in the Bible does it say that? Where within your... Because he's a Mormon, so where in the Book of Mormon does it say anything about this. Citation needed, please. I believe our spirits have gender and that they are all spiritual children of God. Why? Based on what? And except for the extremely rare case of truly intersex individuals. So he acknowledges that there are more than two options. He said he doesn't believe that there were more, see, right at the top there. There are more than two genders as a false, let me scroll up. The very act of assuming I need to let others know my gender is necessarily upon the false belief that there are more than two genders. But here he's indicating that except for the extremely rare case of truly intersex individuals, thus there are more than two options. Therefore, there are more than two genders, and you're acknowledging that. So, yeah, there being more than two genders is a fact. A biological reality, even. So, like, your own statement is either full of shit or contradictory. Take your pick. Which would you rather have? Your spiritual gender is your biological gender on Earth, and this cannot change no matter what people believe or try to change in this life. That come to the resurrection, they will be restored to their true spiritual / biological sex. Then if they're gonna get restored, then why does it matter? And why not? Why can't that get, like, lost in translation between point A and point B? Especially in a fallen world, which is what you'll find, like, a world full of sin, which would be in line with, like, the Mormon ideology. So it falls in line with your ideology already. It falls in line with the theology. So if it falls in line with the theology, why would it be a problem in the first place? It's only a problem because you're making it a problem. And the only reason you're making it a problem is because you're an asshole. You're just an asshole. You're just a selfish fucking asshole. This is a core doctrine. You mean not a biological reality? It's a core doctrine. That I concede that this is a changeable characteristic by informing others of my gender pronouns based on the possibility I might identify as something different to heavenly ordained reality that I am a man, or calling people a gender that they are not, to me is a fundamental act of blasphemy against God, the truth, and biological reality. Like, how hard you have to try to not be like, well, I'm not an asshole because it's biological reality. Except that it's not. It's not biological reality, and he's already admitted that incidentally. Sir, did you proofread this? If they're sinning by changing their gender, you acknowledging that they're sinning isn't you then therefore sinning. What it would be is, like, if your God told you to, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, then you would be sinning by being a dick and not treating your neighbor with love and shit or whatever. Also, informing people of your gender was something you did before anyway. Like, you did that already. You did that without this additional caveat. You cannot tell me that Shad has not signed off paperwork where he had to check a box about whether he was male or female before this. Shad is definitely old enough to have worked on paperwork that would, like, in school would have said, like, are you a boy or a girl? I mean, you played Pokemon, right? You're that age. That would track. Do you see how it's not just about politeness for people like me? Yeah, no, we know that. We know you're an asshole, and you want to justify being an asshole. There's 100 ways you could explain away why this is not sin, but the fact that you are trying so hard to make it about yourself when it has nothing to do with you tells me, yeah, no, I see how it's not just about that. Easily. It's actually very transparent. I don't know why you think people don't get that. Or you just don't like the conclusion that they come to, because they understand and they think you're an asshole, and you think, well, there's no possible way I could be an asshole. Therefore, they just must not understand. It's like, no. That's nope. Don't have to be like that. That's the mindset of somebody that is incredibly fragile. They are literally imposing the very crime upon me, denying a person's identity, that they claim I commit if I do not bow to their demands, and they see not their hypocrisy. What crime? Are you talking sin? I didn't realize, like, God would be so petty as to be like, you don't get, your parents give you your name. Like, God didn't give you that name, Shad. If you think this is an extreme reaction, I don't think claiming it's blasphemy against God and my core self, no, I don't think it's extreme. I think it's just stupid. For something you perceive as small, no, it's not because it's small. I don't think being a transphobic piece of shit is small and doesn't matter. Why would I think that? Inconsequential and simple as informing and using preferred gender pronouns, then it should not bother you if I don't do it. It's such a small thing after all. Shad, if everybody started calling you a woman, would you get pissy about it? Because the way you're talking about this, you would get very pissy about it. They see not their hypocrisy. Or if it's as serious as people claim, to justify the extreme aggression people have in imposing this ideology, where citation needed extreme aggression. What extreme aggression? Somebody got mad at you? Somebody said you were an asshole? Is this extreme aggression? I feel like I'm being very aggressive. Damn you, Shadversity. I'm so mad. Then you should respect how seriously I'm reacting and opposing it. If you say this about people's identity, then I agree, and I'm letting you know that it's about my identity too. It's not about you. Other people's gender and identification and how they want to dress and how they want to look and how they want to be represented in society, it isn't about you. Stop making everything about you. And I'm not going to sacrifice mine to affirm another's. You're not sacrificing anything. You made that up in your head. As I would never force others to do for me. That's what you're doing. You're doing that. How about you just don't interact with trans people? Because you could just choose to not interact with trans people. I'm sure they're not really that interested in interacting with you either. So if you just don't interact with trans people, you don't need to make a big ass long post about it. We are free to believe what we want. Yeah, you can think whatever you think. It doesn't mean you get to fucking remove people's rights from them because you feel that way. Just stay home. And no one must affirm it for the sake of our feelings or mental health. Okay, but you're talking about that, you're saying no one must affirm it, but you're taking something that, like, what's expected and allotted for an individual and then applying it to a group. Society does have to affirm that people are people and people exist and they're allowed to do so and they exist. That's what comes in, that's the first half of what you said. We are free to believe what we want. Therefore, anybody's free to believe that they are and identify as whatever gender they want to. And no one must affirm it. But society does. An individual might not have to, but societally we have to accept that. You have to accept that this person is this way. Now, what we do about it is going to differ. Like, as a society, we may or may not draw specific lines. So we might identify and be like, hey, we have to accept the worst type of person in society is still a person. And so we accept and acknowledge that, and then we decide as a society how we want to approach that, whether it be imprisonment, whether it be ostracization, whether it be just acceptance. Those can all be different things. Maybe it's a matter of somebody needs to be removed from society completely, or whether or not they can be rehabilitated, and whether or whether or not you decide that whatever is different about that individual or that in like that smaller group, you could then decide that, oh no, that's fine, that doesn't hurt anybody, so we just everything's fine. there's no issue. And so, like, you can't try to then say that, well, I don't have to affirm your individual thing. It's like, yeah, but you also shouldn't be on Twitter being like, fuck you, because now you're making it their problem. You're making your belief and your freedom of that belief that individual's issue for no reason. Because you're an asshole. Also, no one must affirm it for the sake of our feelings or mental health. Yes, mental health of society is important. So yes, we do. Especially as a society. And on top of that, this is well, I don't have to care about your feelings. It's like, okay, but nobody has to care about yours either. So, no empathy? Are we just going no empathy for anybody? Because that's not going to go so well for a society. Like, one of the reasons why humans are successful from a biological reality is because we're social. Dumb fuck. If you think my belief that being forced to conform to blah 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 is ridiculous and nonsense, guess what? That's exactly how I feel about this preferred pronoun ideology. But you're demanding that people use your preferred pronoun, which matches your biological gender. You're not he doesn't get it. If he's saying you have to call me a man because I was born a man, then that is still your preferred gender pronoun, just because you happen to have been born a man. That's the difference. Is what you were born, like what junk you have between your legs, or don't have. Whether or not you've made the mistake of deciding to keep your very fragile reproductive organs on the outside, where they are very tender and easy to strike. And as I would never force you to acknowledge a belief that you find ridiculous and offensive, you're doing that in this post. That's you. You're doing that thing. So should you not impose the same upon me. You're an idiot. Basically, you're going really, really far, unnecessarily, to use your doctrine and weaponize your doctrine against other people when your doctrine already allots for their existence with no issue.